Hello everyone, for Channel 6 TV Community Focus. I'm Dennis George, and I'm joined today by the new principal at West Marion Elementary, Robbie Peterson. And Robbie, welcome.
Thank you, Dennis.
Well, I say kind of stress the new part because you have been the interim principal for a period of time. I guess that was kind of like an audition to step in. You kind of stepped in at a tough time.
Yeah, it was I guess a difficult situation. I was not down there before, so basically whenever they asked me to go down after fall break and fill in as interim, I gladly accepted because I'm familiar with the community down there. All three of my kids have went through the school system, went through that school, and I just live a couple minutes from the school, so I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to go down there and see what the elementary level was like.
Well, in the past you were at Marion County High School, assistant principal, athletic director. Obviously a big change going from high school students down to the elementary students.
Yeah, it's a big change. The one thing that hits me probably the most is whenever I'm getting them off the bus or getting them out of their parents' car in the morning. You can see the excitement in their eyes. I mean, they enjoy coming to school. I mean, it feels like a school. Sometimes when you're at the high school level, it's more like a business. They're coming in for a job, and there's certain things at the high school. There's a lot of there's a lot of goals and college and career readiness, ACT, and all that stress that the high school kids have that you don't see with the little ones.
Mm-hmm. All right, we talk, and obviously you've coached and played sports. When you're an assistant coach and you move to the chair and become the head coach, it's a lot different. From being the assistant principal at the high school to the actual principal, was it a lot different for you in the responsibilities and maybe the little things that you had to do?
Yeah, there's being the principal, I guess there's a lot more paperwork involved. Instead of your daily duties, you also got to worry about the paperwork end. Usually I had to do it with the athletic director's position, but now I'm having to do it with 30 certified staff, 14, 15 classified staff. West Marion has got a lot of certified staff. It's got a lot of instructional assistants. You have 465 kids in the building, and that's a lot of responsibility.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk a little bit about your background, Robbie. I mean, we know that you live in Loretto now, but kind of take us from Robbie Peterson, athlete, Marion County High School, to your college background and coming back to Marion County.
Okay, I went to St. Augustine for my elementary and middle school years. Then I went to Marion County High School where I played football all 4 years. Then after high school, I went to the University of Kentucky for about a year and a half before I transferred to EKU. Then at EKU, I went into the education department, became a history teacher, got all the certifications there, graduated, got my first job at Washington County High School. Lee Glasscock, who was the head football coach at the time, he called me. He was needing assistant football coaches. So I went there. My first year I spent as a special ed teacher, worked in a resource room. Then after that 1 year experience doing that, I went into becoming a social studies teacher.
Did you come out of college wanting to be a coach? Because I know it runs in the family.
Yeah, I think I knew it early. I knew at an early age that I wanted to be a teacher and a coach.
Okay,
that's what I wanted to do.
And I'm sure some of that was the influence, in your family with a lot of athletes, and I'm sure probably Danny Marks probably coached you.
I've had a lot of positive influences as far as my teachers, coaches, playing for Sam Simpson when I was in high school, who is now at Henry Clay, and I think he just recently maybe retired. Yeah. But he was a positive influence there. Dave Hergen, Jackie Owens, Danny Owens, Danny Marks. I mean, I can name them all off.
A lot of the same names who have influenced the lives of a lot of kids in this community.
Absolutely.
All right, when did you come to Marion County, and kind of take us through from wherever you were to being the assistant principal athletic director.
Yeah, I was at Washington County for 6 years, where I was an assistant football coach. I was actually a head softball coach. Coached middle school basketball for 1 year. Coached track and field for 1 year while I was at Washington County. Got a call from Chuck Hamilton, who was actually he was the assistant football coach when I played football here at Marion County High School. Got a job offer to come over and work with Coach Robbins as assistant football coach and teach history. And that was in 2004. And I did that until 2010, whenever I went down to Lebanon Middle School for an assistant principal there for 1 year before going back to the high school and becoming the assistant principal and athletic director.
All right. You live in Loretto.
Mm-hmm.
Is it difficult, and I know it probably helped with your transition to go down there because you're familiar with a lot of the kids and a lot of the families. I think the first time you told me you lived just a couple minutes away, it's like, well, you took that job to sleep a little bit longer in the morning. But is it difficult in some ways, though, having to deal, if you have a problem, with people that you know pretty closely?
I don't feel it as difficult, because I think being able to communicate and parents being comfortable coming to me, I think it makes the transition easier and makes us able to deal with our issues, because you're always going to have them. It doesn't matter, high school, middle school, elementary, there's always going to be things that come up that you're going to have to deal with, and you have to be able to talk and communicate with people.
All right, and I guess part of it, they know you, and if they feel comfortable with you and whether or not it works out to a parent's satisfaction, the fact that they know you and maybe know that you're doing the right thing or the best thing may make it a little easier on a parent who comes in to see you.
Hopefully it does, because, I mean, you know, we want to do what's in the best interest for the students. And being able to communicate that with the parents and the teachers as well is something that I'm always going to do. I don't ever want to just push things to the side. I want to be able to talk issues out. Sometimes we may all agree, sometimes we may not, but at least we had that discussion.
Well, I know I was down with Senator Higdon maybe before the holidays when he comes down and talks to students about our form of government, and I thought it was interesting. You know, you have all the kids there in the gymnasium, and I guess when you're used to high school students and you see that, it probably has to be, you almost have to smile about the way the young kids are.
Oh yeah, you can't help but smile. You know, and even if you're having a bad day, you can walk down to that preschool room, go down there and spend a little time with those kids, and I mean, you can't do nothing but smile when you come out of the preschool room.
All right, I would assume, you know, coming in first right after fall break as an interim and continuing to be interim until a couple of weeks ago, is this school year more for you of one of just kind of maintaining the status quo, and then do you look forward to implementing maybe some of the things that you would like to do in the new school year? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, basically, you know, I changed some things up a little bit, because you can't throw little ones off the routine. Just from the morning announcements that we do in the morning, I do it all in the gym when I have all the kids in there. I mean, it's like doing a mini pep rally every morning to get the kids excited to go in and learn every day. I wanted to emphasize the tradition, the can-do attitude, the pages, the positive achievers, growing in excellence and success. I did add the tag of "We are West Marion." Kids like doing that chant, just to give them an identity, and also to be able to reflect and pull from the tradition of excellence that they've already had.
All right, and I guess kids at that age, if you try to do some of that at the high school, students would probably laugh at you.
Right.
But at that level, they probably get into it quite a bit.
They do. I think they really enjoy it.
All right, what can people expect, let's say moving forward in the next school years? Do you have certain plans or things that you want to continue to improve upon at the school?
Yeah, I want to continue. We always want to continue to move forward, because we're going to focus on 21st century learners, because those are the things that it's going to help them prepare not only for middle school but also high school. They need to be They need to be creative, critical thinkers, college and career ready. I mean, you know, all these different things that we call them the 4 C's or whatever. Those are things that we need to focus on in order to prepare kids to move on to the future. We're also going to start involving more technology. Okay, we've got 2 sets, so we got 60 Chromebooks, 30 iPad Airs, we've got a computer lab, we've got a library that's got computers in it. And you know, it's not only just putting the kids on those devices and being able to use them or log in or whatever, but they need to be able to connect that learning to real world situations.
Well, what's the book? The World is Flat. Basically, you're not just competing
Our
for
kids
people in this area.
Yeah,
it's
our kids are not
worldwide.
competing for this area. I mean, they got to compete in a global economy. You can watch any presidential debate, and that's what they talk about. I watched Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders last night, and that was one of the questions that they wanted to be, you know, be able to compete in the global economy.
All right, we hear so much that there's so much emphasis placed on testing that, and whether that be true or false, that we don't teach kids, we teach them for a test. And whether that be true or false, how do you balance the two? Because so much emphasis from government is based on testing. How do you balance those two, especially with young kids?
You know, especially the testing at the young age, I think you got to make sure that the kids understand that this is a benchmark. Mm-hmm. This is where you're at, and it gives them the ability to set goals. We're big on goal setting. Set goals of where they want to be, where they want to be from the winter to the spring to the K-Prep testing at the end. And that, you know, and if you stress it that way, because no matter the 21st century learning and being creative, critical thinkers, communicators, in any of that, they still got to know the basics and the basic fundamentals of reading, writing,
and arithmetic.
I mean, you still got it. I mean, you know, it's just what you're seeing in kindergarten and first grade is something that we probably used to see in second, third, or fourth grade.
So kids are learning at an earlier age?
They're learning at earlier. Yeah, they're learning at an earlier age. Absolutely.
Okay, so you are teaching kids how to write cursive?
Well, I see cursive now.
Okay.
So hopefully.
All right. You know, you've been a teacher. You've been an assistant principal at 2 schools, and now you're a principal. Is this one of those that you can foresee that this being the last step in your job career? Or of course, you're still young.
I'm still young, but I mean, I'm getting closer to that retirement age.
All right, or
I've got about 8 or 9 years left. And I, to be honest with you, I want to be there for a while, however long that is. I mean,
other than going to, let's say, an administrative type position.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as any other move as a principal, this is probably you're back home in more ways than one.
Yeah, in more ways than one. But I'd eventually like to, probably in the future, somewhere down the road, I'd like to be a high school principal because, you know.
Well, you've been, but I think even being in that chair as an elementary principal, it's different when you move back to the high school. But I think it kind of broadens your knowledge and makes you.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm learning. Those teachers down there, they don't realize it, but they're teaching me every day.
Well, but again, being part of that community probably helps out in the learning process, that they understand. All principals have a vested interest in a school.
Absolutely.
But by being part of that community, there's a little extra pressure on you down there.
Absolutely, there's a lot more pressure because, you know, I'm expected to make sure everybody's kids down there are safe, and you know, I know most of the parents. I probably know more of the parents than I do of the kids.
Right.
I know which kids belong to which parents, and that helps.
But these are parents that you're going to see at the grocery store, in church, even more so than you would in Lebanon because of being a close-knit community.
Yeah, and Loretto is a very close-knit community.
So, you know, and I guess you probably do get a lot of support from parents because of that type of community that it is when things go on at school.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We've had a reading night, we've had Valentine's dance, we've had an awards night, and I mean, the parents down there at that end of the county, they support. and they show up.
And that's important for the kids to see that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. That's all of our time for tonight. We appreciate you coming up. I told you I was going to go easy on you.
All right, thank you.
And I hope I did.
All right, yeah.
All right, didn't put any pressure. For Channel 6 TV Community Focus, I'm Dennis George.